So my Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra just got updated recently. It's now got One UI 4.1.1. And I gotta say, it's pretty nice, making it feel more like a laptop, and it sort of gives me Chromebook vibes, but I feel like there's one potential problem. The new layout almost reminds me of how Chromebook tablets are set up. How you've got the icons along the bottom there in the taskbar. You can see it sort of shrinks down your dock down below, and it doesn't change when you disconnect it from a keyboard. It just stays in that same layout. To turn on the taskbar, you just go into settings, under display. You can toggle on and off taskbar right there. As you can see, you've got the buttons pushed over here to the side. Access to all of your apps are there in the left-hand corner. And then when you're on the home screen, you can still get to all of your apps just by swiping up. But you'll notice that you don't have the little icons down here in the corner. You'll also see some animation here as you go from the Google Discover page to your home page. Now when you maximize apps, the taskbar does go away, but you can bring it up just by swiping up from the bottom. You can also move the button position from the right over to the left inside settings, but it does make things a little more cramped over here on the left. The other nice update is with split screen. You can actually just drag apps right over to the screen, and you can see it kind of gives you options on the top or bottom or left and right hand side. Of course, you can adjust it by dragging that over left and right. You can also switch them just by tapping there in the middle and then tapping on the little arrows there in the middle. And it'll actually rotate how the screen is split by tapping in the middle and tapping the left icon. If you keep tapping it, it keeps rotating. So definitely a nice feature to have. You can also go into advanced features and swipe for split screen. I don't remember if it had this one before, but it's just another way to do split screen. You can also drag an app there in the center for pop-up view as well. And then you can move that around, resize it how you'd like, or just remove it. Depending on which app you're using, it's gonna treat it a little bit different. For instance, if you try to bring Netflix over, it can only open it in full screen view. And then you can just switch between apps just by tapping down here on the taskbar. You are gonna notice that the icons are pretty small down here at the bottom. As far as I know, there's no way to make those larger. And then when you have it in gesture navigation, pretty much the same layout. You just don't have the buttons over here on the side. You'll just see a line right there in the middle. When you have it on gesture navigation, it's also nice. You can just tap and hold to get rid of the taskbar or to bring it back. I thought the lock screen was supposed to be a little bit different than before, but I don't know. To me, it looks pretty much the same. Same thing with the notification shade. Just for comparison, here's what Samsung DeX looks like. Again, very similar. You get the buttons over here on the left, access to all of your apps there in the corner, very similar to the regular mode. Doesn't quite show all the apps down here though. So overall, I really like this new update. Sort of gives the tablet a fresh new feel to the software, and I think most people will agree it's a better experience compared to how the software was before, especially if you're going to be using this like a laptop with the keyboard connected, which is what I tend to do most of the time. But it is a little confusing now to have this kind of layout plus have Samsung DeX. Kind of makes me wonder how much people will be using Samsung DeX now after this update, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Besides this new software update, after using this tablet for the past 6 months or so, it's actually been really nice. It seems to be getting better and better with each update. I still use it mainly as a laptop replacement though, hardly ever taking off the keyboard, and it's just really nice to use the S Pen to move around the software. I mean, I could probably get away with using a laptop that has a touchscreen as long as it has good stylus support, and I'd probably have more options as far as which apps or programs I could run if this was a Windows laptop. I don't know, I am sort of curious to see what the new Surface products that are going to be coming out later this year by Microsoft. Who knows, maybe I'll try to get one of those to see how it compares to something like this. But it's just really nice to have a screen this big, but still it's pretty thin, and the keyboard has been updated, so I feel like that's a little bit better now compared to when this first came out. I've also noticed the few app issues I had earlier on don't seem to be a problem anymore, so that's always nice to see as well. The battery life on here seems to be pretty good, getting me through a couple days, you know, depending on how much I'm using it. But so far, this is easily one of my favorite tablets that I've used this year so far, and it's got to be one of the top 2 or 3 that I use the most.
So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.